Honestly, we could start in fall camp because it seemed like that's just where it started. Like the excitement was there, but then we started having like some injuries.
Almost a biblical kind of injury for our team. So I guess we can just go to the what everyone's talking about. The Brent Venables coaching carousel or decisions he's going to have to make. On the Brent Venables discussions, there are a lot of people talking about fire Brent, he's not getting the job done. I am of the opinion, and I've argued this a couple times before. I don't. It's hard for me to really judge right now, BV, in terms of success, only because I don't know another team. And I looked at Florida's injuries earlier today, what he's dealt with this year is I don't think any head coach has ever dealt with in the history of college football. When I'm judging coaches, for me, I look at is what's happening on the field a direct result of what you are coaching or what you are doing, and if so, then you start looking at changes or what you need to get done in terms of improving. I don't know how, unless he is directing medical staff or something, how injuries like have happened on our offense. We have at some point 8 starters out at different times. We've had I think eight or nine, I think 8 starters that have been starting a game at OU have missed a game for an injury. That's like over 80% of your starters have all missed games due to injury. I looked at Texas today. They didn't have any that I noticed besides the CJ Baxter injury from earlier in the year or before the year. Florida has a lot, but again, Florida's are dispersed between their defense and offense. So they have like 4 on offense, 4 on defense, maybe. And even of those, one was a second string running back. And ours are all starters. I mean, it's just not even last game, you're missing your number 1 and 2. So for me, like the BV thing is it's tough because even in 2022, if you remember, like he didn't get to go to the portal until almost the end of the December cycle. So you just rush to get a roster filled after everyone's transferring out. And then you have to go through spring ball just to find out really where your needs are because you're not really sure what you even have. And so he was behind the 8 ball in a way that phrase, that cliche almost doesn't do it justice. And for me, it's just, I look at that and I think, all right, that for me is a wash year because it was just trying to fill the team. He has 1 year where we're all healthy and everyone's available and we go 10 wins. And then the year ended, obviously not how we wanted. And then this year, it's hard. I just don't know. I don't know where the line between judging him harshly and saying, like, one thing that bothers me, and then I'll let T go, and I have a problem with getting on a soapbox, which is she's an angel and doesn't, just lets me kind of vent. One thing that always bothers me when I hear people talk about Oklahoma is they'll say that Oklahoma's team, Oklahoma is this, Oklahoma is this. Listen, it is not the Oklahoma team right now. It's just not. No one really knows what we would be right now if everyone could play. And that sounds like a cop-out and an excuse, but it's a reason why we're struggling. You miss the best players on your offense, you're not going to be as good. And I think that filters down into every aspect of it. I think it's hurt Jackson. I think Jackson has ghosts right now, similar to Caleb in Chicago. I think that even when he has a clean pocket, you can see the effects of earlier this year where he didn't trust it. Even though the offensive line is playing better, they're getting better. We hear Gabe and Teddy and them talk about it all the time. They are getting better, but it's tough whenever you have dealt with something so long that it just becomes, it's almost like a tick where just human nature says, I got to survive here. And I'm worried about where I'm going to get hit. And so he's pushed, I think a little bit of it, he's getting in his own head about making sure he's safe. Now, it doesn't excuse the ball just flying out of your hand. He's obviously made mistakes that he shouldn't make. And I'm not excusing that at all. I'm just saying, like, what are the actual foundational issues that you have to change? And for me, like with the BV talk, firing BV, first off, you couldn't afford it, but it's just kind of made it for me a little bit of it's annoyed me a little bit because it's just not who we are.
Bit.
Yeah,
a little bit. You should see him when he's really annoyed. His rants are much longer. So my biggest thing with that is I've gone to the ladies clinic. I see how much these players truly love Coach Venables and how highly they speak of him and what a great recruiter he can be. He has that Switzer energy. Like feels like he's known you your whole life. I went to the ladies clinic. I went to the Rudy's and he recognized me immediately. And I'm nobody. He's not trying to recruit me. And he was immediately recognized that where he had seen me and met me. And my fear would be losing the recruiting class, truly. And then we're going to be starting all over. And then we're still 3 or 4 years behind even more. I was telling Chad, I was like, we were predicted to win 6 games this year, period. we've almost got that with literally none of our offense. Imagine just for a second if we had our offensive players back, like easy. Like I don't understand. I mean, I understand the frustrations. Don't get me wrong. I understand, getting our hopes up and we kind of see it collapse. I do get that. And I can understand even some of the coaching people having their I don't know, like their criticisms for like the coaching decisions, but even having your players and the personnel you have changes the way that you think and the way that you coach. So I just know he's in a really tough spot, but at the end of the day, we're very realistic. Maybe because we both did play sports, we try to be more analytical and kind of set the emotions aside. We will be very emotional, and that's just human nature, but we try to sit back and think about it more analytically and like, okay, if we do this, then what happens? Or if, oh, you did that, then what happens? And things of that nature. But that's still not to say nobody likes to lose. Losing stinks. And I guarantee you nobody on that team hates it more than those players and those coaches. But on the positive thoughts of this season, I've enjoyed watching our defense for the most part, obviously. They're tough. They are gruesome. Is that a word? I mean, I meant like, is that appropriate? Maybe not gruesome, but you get what I'm saying. I generally enjoy it and never thought I'd see that again at OU. I'm very, very thankful for Danny and Billy coming back and giving us one more year. I hate that the offensive side of the ball just collapsed the way it did for them, but they have truly given everything. And you see that. I think Danny had 19 tackles the last game, something insane. And so I'm very thankful for them, and I'm definitely going to miss them. But the foundation for the defense is there. These young guys come in and they're just as mean, they're just as tough, and that makes me excited going forward with that side of the ball for sure. So, oh, thank you.
Thanks, Jack. Appreciate that.
And for the players returning on defense next year, I'm hoping they get all their offensive players back so we can truly see what we have, because we're going to play the same schedule just in reverse next year. So gives us hopefully a chance for some revenge. Fingers crossed.